we need to do this on a different episode, obviously, because we could fill. I mean, this what I'm about to say. We could do a series on this. Talking about just messy fucking military marriages.
Yeah. Well, my military marriage was perfect. It was
No,
whenever
but
I
what I'm saying is like just that's military marriages for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like it just fucking goes nuts
yeah.
and with the most insane fucking. It's one of those things of like if you didn't live through it or you didn't see it, nobody would fucking believe it.
Oh yeah.
Shit gets so fucking wild.
Look, I'm going to say this. So whenever and this is kind of a dig at the VA. The VA fucking sucks, and they don't take good care of
Why
our
would you
veterans.
ever think of that?
Yeah, but especially on the mental health side. So look, I get out on MEB. So whenever, and for y'all, anyone that didn't serve that hears this, MEB is a med board. So I got hurt. They put
Medical
me out.
evaluation board. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they put me out that way. Just because I was hurt, I couldn't fulfill my duties anymore. So we get shit going through our head and it kind of fucks us up, whether you want to call it, anxiety, depression, PTSD, fucking being a bitch, whatever you want to call it. I don't give a fuck. But, and we all handle it different. Well, I get out, and granted, I got a very, very, good job with what I was doing, making, very, very good money. I probably getting out, I got probably a, you know, 400% raise, 500% raise just in what I did in the civilian world.
And you get
And
and for the most part, I would say like depending on your job, depending on how long you serve and your qualifications,
yeah,
it's possible, but then
yeah,
it's so few and far between that you get
yeah.
that lucky. You know what I mean?
But I'm just saying, so I came out, and this is how fucked up my head was at the time. So I come out of the army, and I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'm being a bitch, and I'm gonna say it like that way. But honestly, I had some sort of mental health struggle just because I'm looking at, our guys are deploying, our guys are doing this or this, that, the other.
And you're at
Um,
home.
and I'm at home being a bitch. You know what I mean? And I'm seeing this, and then um something ultimately happened in Qatar, and we lost some service members. That would have been 2012.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um so it was December 8th or 12th. December 12th of or I'm sorry, December 8th of 12. Yeah, or 10. Fuck, I'm fucking up my
Fucking move
days.
on,
I can't remember. Okay, so anyways, but anyway, so going through this different shit, well, fucks with your head. Well, at the time, me first getting out, so I'm going through my shit, and I'm being an asshole. I'm pissed off. I'm seeing these guys deploying. I'm seeing this. I missed out on a couple like deployment to Australia and some other shit, and it was just, I was pissed, bro. I was fucking pissed. And I was taking that on her and the world, like not physically, but it was just, I was pissed off. And I wasn't talking about my feelings. And then VA, you can't get into VA. Like we try to get into VA, maybe we want to see a therapist. Well, now guess what? We got to be on a waiting list to even fucking get a therapist or get anything done. And they fuck with us. And which
and
is
not
why
only
you guys
that,
so many,
not only that, trying to get referrals, authorizations.
yeah,
You have to
which
go
is
through so many levels to get to that point.
Oh yeah, which, ultimately caused me, my divorce. I was being a fucking piece of shit asshole. I really was, because I didn't know how to handle my emotions. And it was mainly because of, shit getting out of the army. And, and you think about it and like, look at how many, they say 22 veterans a day commit suicide. And I know a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
veterans that have committed suicide. It's like, bro, if the VA would do their fucking job, guys
Now,
wouldn't be eating a bullet. You know what I
so,
mean?
so like now, I'm by no means trying to defend the VA by any means. I think it goes through a few different layers, right? One, it's the government, and the government refuses to put any investment in modernization and
Yeah.
just funding to. Is what I think. But I think in some aspects, now granted, again, VA fucking sucks. We all know that. But I think in some areas, in certain aspects, I think there is a little bit of overwhelming of the system, and they refuse to give more funding to address the overwhelming of the system, right? So that's why
Yeah.
shit gets ungodly backed up all the time,
Hmm.
and then lost
Yeah.
in translation. And then a part of the modernization, right? Of just trying, because think about it this way. And there was a brilliant fucking comedian that did this. um he's prior Marine, and he had I think he fucked up his elbow and everything like that, and he needed to get a copy of his x-ray or something like that from the VA to send to his community care doctor, right? um and they're like, or no, he needed to get it from his community care doctor to send it to his to the VA, right? And they're like, okay, cool. So I can get it from the. Can I, just you know, email the images to you, right? Like, no, you need to get it burned onto a CD, and then you can fax it over or mail it to us. That's
Yeah.
how out of date and fucking technologically bullshit that the VA is. That they
Oh
cannot
yeah.
just do. They can't take that kind of stuff. They have to still take CDs and faxes versus just modern fucking communication
Oh yeah.
ways.
Well, it's shit like that. It's how they handle shit is why we're having so many. Okay, chronic pain. Let's talk about chronic pain real quick. I've been in chronic pain for fucking what 18, 20 years now. Just a nagging constant fucking pain through here. Like we've talked about it. You know how it is after my injuries. Like I had my bad shoulder injury, then after the surgery I got adhesive capsulitis, which caused more damage, this that, and then down. Like how in the fuck can they say, oh yeah, we're going to give you a percentage of disability for your scar on your shoulder and this and the injury, a small percentage on that, but we're going to deny your chronic pain, though we know, because we say it's not service connected. And then when you want to get a second opinion, they're like, oh no, we'll just keep pushing that down the road. Like I've been trying to get him with a VA to get seen, to get my like my percentage reevaluated for about 3 to 4 years now, and I can't get in, like, to get shit done. And they keep saying, "Oh, well, we're booked up, we're overbooked, we're this, that, the other," and it's like, fuck, bro, like, do your fucking job, like, either
Yeah,
hire more people, send it to the civilian sector, do something, because doing nothing isn't the right answer. Because how many times do people get these little nagging pains or little bitty things, and it just like binds on you, like that shit'll make you fucking eat a bullet. Like you're like, fuck, I don't even want to deal with the pain no more. Like you
yeah.
you got these
What I
athletes that get knee injuries or
Yeah,
back injuries that just they eat a bullet or whatever because they can't deal with the nagging pain no more, and the VA's causing that shit on soldiers.
this is what I, because I was actually thinking about this today, and what I think, this is what I compared it to. So, let me know what you think. Like we have our people, a lot of them that see the dirty, ugly side of war. A lot of them that just see the so for people like you, right, that see the ugly sides of war, and then people like me, I deployed 4 times, but I'm not a outside the wire guy. I didn't have bullets whizzing by my head, I didn't have bombs blowing up next to me. But we get pulled, we get out, and we don't have to get sent towards war zones anymore. We don't go to fight a war in the Middle East or wherever in the world anymore. Instead, we're facing a war of attrition when it comes to the VA, because what it does is trying to fight and get through the system, and they just keep on funneling us around. Like I don't know if you've ever seen videos of guys on the phone going through the call tree in the VA, right? And they eventually loop themselves back around to where they started because they're following the call tree. It's a war of attrition, so like we just give up eventually, and they don't have to deal with us.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I've called them and then I get looped back around to the first menu and it's like hit 9 to return the previous menu. I'm like, bitch, that's the same thing I heard whenever I first got on.
Yeah, and and one thing that I want to say, like, it's bad enough. Like I know you haven't seen a lot of the like I watch Candace Owens every day. And this past week, so last week, she was out on a family vacation. She went to Russia, right? And of course, what's the first thing people do? Oh, look, she's working with Putin and whatever. I'm like, you guys are dumb. Like, you can go to Russia. Like, it's not like it's not like Iran or Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You can go to Russia. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, right? Um, so she goes to Russia, and she brings security with her, right? One guy, I can't remember if it was Australian or British, for like former SAS type stuff.
Hmm.
I can't remember which one it was, but I just know he was an American. The other guy was former SEAL Team One, right? In his 40s, not particularly older, right? Like so relatively young, but not particularly like older either, right? So, but former SEAL Team One guy. They make the flight, international flight, land in Russia and everything. They get to their hotel, and while Candace and her family is in their hotel room, the security guys, I think she said they were down in their either in the lobby or like at the restaurant of the hotel, right? Well, the
Hmm.
SEAL team guy collapses. And so the other guy comes up to tell Candace, like, hey, just want to let you know this happened and whatnot. And so they obviously take the SEAL team guy, they take him to the hospital, in Russia. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, he needs something's going on. Turns out he had a brain aneurysm that ruptured, and the guy had no idea. And obviously, Candace and them, they had no idea, because it's one of those things. Like, what's one thing you don't do with a brain aneurysm? You don't get a fucking pressurized cabin and fly across the world. Like
Hmm.
that's a bad thing to do. And so what happened is that he had been trying to get into the VA for months because of pain he was having, because of things that was going on, trying to get seen, and they kept dismissing him, saying like, "Oh, you have PTSD," because he's a teams guy. He's had PTSD. Kept trying to push more pills on him, refusing to do any investigation medically wise to see what was going on with him. And now he's in Russia still to this day because they did multiple brain surgeries to get the aneurysm out. And he's recovered. He's doing physical therapy and recovering in Russia right now. And it, and, and regardless of anything, like, I'm very thankful that the team's guy I don't care where he was. I don't care if it was Qatar for all I give a shit. I'm very thankful that he's got the help. He got the help. He got the surgery. And he's recovering. Right.
Yeah.
I don't care where he was. I don't care. I don't wouldn't even care if it was Iran. If he got help and he was recovering, good that it's done. Right. It's worse. It's worse enough to think that our elite fighters, like this team's guy or Green Berets or Marsa, whoever that are elite guys, are getting shit on and disregarded as much as they are. And to be in that elite level in the military, which we already have less than 1% of the country decides to enlist and serve the country in the military, right?
Yeah.
Then you have such a micro percentage of that 1% that can qualify to be at the elite level for teams, Green Beret, Marsoc, whatever, right? And then they're getting shit afterwards. But then you have people like me that are just the everyday people. I'm a supply guy that make up the vast majority, not including like pilots and stuff like that. They kind of have their own category, but I'm talking like me, support guys that support, all the other functions, right? From medical to finance to admin to, guys like me, supply, maintenance guys, whatever like that are the vast majority of the military.
Yeah.
I want people to understand that it's not just the elite fucking fighters, which respect, unbelievable respect, and I praise everything that they do, but it's not just the elite fighters that go through this. We go through this shit as well. Like, the VA is not discriminatory on who they're shit with. And I just want people to understand that it's a shit system for all veterans, not just the elite fighter veterans. And it's just sad that they don't get taken care of better, given what all they sacrificed, for shit that we'll never know of. And then you have people like me that are still given, didn't do shit like that, but we still get the shit into the stick because it's still a fucking trying to figure out what will I have to do just to get, I don't know, something to justify like, hey, I'm in pain here. Can I just get an X-ray to
Yeah.
see, make sure? Like, no, we're just gonna give you naproxen and we'll see what happens. Type of
Look,
category of how they have to evaluate it and why the army specifically got into a lot of trouble. Because Destiny, I know she spoke about this. I think I don't know. I know she spoke of may have told you this or whatnot, but the army got into a lot of trouble misclassifying misdiagnosing people who had PTSD and then changing the diagnosis to borderline personality because they are very similar in circumstances. You know, they are very similar in how you diagnose them, right? But what would happen is they would come back, they would get diagnosed with PTSD. Upon further diagnosis, evaluation, there was a shit ton of army soldiers that were getting changed to borderline, and then they would get forced out, and therefore they wouldn't qualify for certain VA care and stuff like that. And it got, dude, stop crying like a bitch. Um, and they got into
I'm
a lot of
choking, bro.
they got into a lot of trouble, and Destiny was actually on the task force. And again, to start going over all of these records to evaluate the ones that were changed to say, hey, this is not right. This is not a borderline. This is actual PTSD, and to make sure that those soldiers, because there was a few in the Air Force, but it was mostly the Army that did this. So they got into a lot of trouble for that.